Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Anawal Singh Todawat. Well, friends, I will be dealing with you on the paper that is the diversity of cryptogams. Second, in that we are going to study bryophyte as well as the pteridophytes. Well, while studying the general characters of bryophytes in our previous talk, we saw that how the bryophytes are the plants which prefer to grow in the marshy and the wetland, or somewhat the plants are to be also known as the amphibians. Well, amphibians means they have the ability, or they can be struggling in the water as well as on the land. So this is the what specular characteristics of the bryophytes, and do we know that they are very minute and the small plants which can be easily under our foot, and somewhat like a bulbous and mosses. So in another hands, or on another terms, bryophytes are also known to be as the mosses. Well, bryophytes grow on the land, wetland, as well as on the rock. Thus, bryophyte can grow on the tree trunk. Sometime the bryophytes, or the genus of these bryophytes, which grows on the leaves, on the surface of the leaves, they are to be known, or the term or the condition for this phenomena is known as the epiphyllus. When they are growing on the trunk, then they are to be known as the epiphytic, and so on. So these are the various forms, habit and habitat of the bryophytes. They grow. Well, while studying on the morphological things of the bryophytes, we come to know that the bryophytes shows when the bryophytes are to be very smaller, or on the other hand we see some of the bigger bryophytes, whereas on the smaller bryophytes shows the rhizoids. The rhizoids are nothing but the root like structure or the hair like structure, which helps to maintain or absorb the water and minerals from the soils. Well, in the lower form, bryophytes cannot be differentiated. Well, it is undifferentiated into the root, stem, and the leaves. Whereas in the bigger form of the bryophytes, it can be differentiated into stem, roots, and the leaves. So these are the various forms. Some are, uh, well, this is the gamete or the gametophyte or the thallus of the plant body. Well, talking about the sporophyte is the reproductive organ of the bryophyte, which is consist of the calyptra and what we can say the foot, seta, and capsule. Well, it is the organ which is present on the plant. So this is one of the gametophytic generation is more conspicuous phase in life cycle, and this gametophytic generation is more prominent and long lived than the sporophyte. So friends, well, while we as we are directed to study the Markensia and others, uh, the genus we are going to focus, that is the Markensia and the Rixia. In primitive forms, that means in the lower forms, the Markensia and Rixia, gametophyte is undifferentiated, thus the thallus is prostrate, which is just underlying along the land. And in advanced forms, mosses, plant body is erect, somewhat upcoming above the ground, which can be differentiated into the stem, appendages, and the rhizoids. Well, true roots are absent in bryophytes, and on that term, we can say that the vascular tissues or the vascular bundles are also absent in the case of the bryophytes. Well, rhizoids are present, which helps in absorption and anchoring the plant, or which will give the mechanical support, which will hold in the soil or in the substratum, whether it is the tree trunk or whether it is the land, whether it is the mud, whether it is the soil, and so on. Rhizoids may be uni and multicellular, may be branched and unbranched. Sometimes the scales may be present on the multicellular rhizoids. So, friends, this is the what the gametophytic body of the plants. Plant body consists of the parenchymatous cells only. No other types of cells are observed in the plant body. Whereas thick-walled and lignified cells. Lignified cells means the cells which uh, is made up of the lignin, and it is one of the most strengthened component which provides strength and mechanical support, or what we can say the rigidity to the tissue or to the plants. And with these cells it completely absent in all phases. So what we see, thick-walled and lignified cells are completely absent in all phases. Well, as I as I spoke, vascular tissue is also absent, but plant bodies sometimes internally differentiated into photosynthetic storage zone that helps in the photosynthetic or photosynthesis process. Well, now what we looked up till here, that is what about the general characters as well as the gametophyte and the sporophyte of the bryophytes, do the thallus structure of the bryophytes. Now we move towards the reproduction method of the bryophytes. Well, they reproduce by the vegetative and the sexual reproductions. Vegetative multiplications takes place by the various ways of this, that is the death and decay of the older plants. For example, you can see in the Markensia, that is the Jimma cup, which is attached on the dorsal way, and thus after the maturity this Jimma cup will lose out from the mother plant. It will fall in the soil, it will mix with the soils, and thus it starts germinate in a new baby plant or in a new seedlings or a new plant. Well, fragmentation is the same method. Adventitious branches, tuber formations, and productions of a gymma and the gymma cups. Whereas in case of fragmentations, thallus will break down itself, and each and every parts will help to grow in a new plant. Look out at this plant. Well, I am zooming out this screen. You can see out the Markinsia gametophyte. Well, this is the gymma cup which is present on the view. So, friends, what about the reproduction in the bryophytes by the second method? It is sexual reproduction is by means of the formation of oogamous type. Sex organs are multicellular, are more complex than thallophytes like algae, fungi, and the lichens. In the bryophytes, male organ is called as the antheridia, and the antheridia are stalked and globose. Well, you can see in this diagram that they have one cell thick sterile jacket around its for protection, and this jacket surrounds a solid mass of a fertile cell. So this surroundings is known as the antherocytes. So you can see this this is the antheridia, the male reproductive organ in the bryophyte. So this one is the longitudinal section of the antheridia, and which is the stalk in the bottom. You can observe this bottom, and this one is the cells which are present. Look out at this. These are the cells. That is the look at the parenchymatous. This one is the stalks, and the spores are present inside this jacket. So from the very apex part or upper part, the spores are released in the environment. So now the anthrocytes metamorphose into the anthrozoites. Anthrozoites are biflagellate and thus they are motile, can swim in water. Motile means the spores or the anthrozoites which are released from that, what we can say, that the anthridia, and these anthrozoites are biflagellated and thus motile, that can be moved from one place to the another, means that will not be like a stationary. And the female sex organ is called as the archegonia. Archegonia is a flax shaped structure. Archegonia have a swollen venter and an elongated upper, uh, that's a neck. This one is the neck, called a neck. The venter and the neck are surrounded by one layer thick sterile jacket cells. So, four of six neck cells and one venter canal cells. So these are the four. One, two, three, four. Okay, 4 to 6 neck canal cells and one venter canal cells. So this is the venter canal cells. What we see, this is the neck surrounded by one layer thick sterile jacket cells. Archegonia have basal swollen venter and elongated upper part called neck. So this is the basal swollen venter and elongated upper part. Water is necessary for fertilization in the bryophytes. When antheridia matures, their sterile jackets disintegrate. What happened actually? It ruptured and liberated the motile anthropoids into the surrounding thin film of water. When archegonia matures, the neck canal cells and venter canal cells disintegrate and forms a mucilage mass. This is the one of the most important. See, this is the mucilage mass. This one is the mucilage mass. Anthrozoids are attracted by chemical present in the mucilage and move towards it by chemotaxis through the thin film of water. Anthrozoids enter into the archegonia through the neck and the ventral cells. Anthrozoids fuse with egg to form a diploid zygote. Sporophyte of a bryophytes. Well, friends, so this was what about the, this is one of the most important aspects in the sporophytes. Now we saw that the reproduction is made by the sexual reproductions and the by the somewhat fragmentations and by Jimmaka formations, by various methods. Now this is the structure of the sporophyte. What we see you, the capsule, this is the main, that is the calyptra. This one is the seta, stamen, leaves, that is the metophyte and the rhizoids. So sporophyte develop from the embryo. Zygote is the first stage in the diploid sporophytic generation. Zygote does not have any resting period. Zygote mitotically divide immediately after fertilization. Outer cell give rise to embryo. Embryo develops within the venter of archegonia. Sporophyte is pimple structure with rhizoid stems or leaves. Sporophyte is completely dependent on gametophyte for the nourishment or for the food and for the what we can also call it as the minerals and the things which is required for its survival and the growth. Sporophyte is a projecting structure in most of the forms. It's project out from the gametophytic tissues. Means it come upwards and taper upwards than the gametophytes. While sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. Sporogenous cells present in the capsule divide mitotically to produce haploid spores. All spores are similar in shape and size and that is why they are called to be homosporous. Sometimes elaters are present in the sporophyte, and these elaters are hygroscopic. Hygroscopic means the nature of absorbing the water or the water loving the nature, and they helps in the spores dispersal for the reproductions. Spores are non-motile. Non-motile means they cannot move from one place to another place, and they disperse particularly with the via wind. Under favorable conditions, these germinate to form the gametophyte, whereas in lower forms, the germination of spores is the formation of a germ tube, which germ tube will later divide to give rise to the younger gametophyte. For example, Markinsia and Rixia. In most advanced mosses, spores germinate to form a filamentous branch of protonema. From the protonema, many gametophytic plant arises. So this is what, friends, regarding the sporophyte of the plant. Well, life cycle of the mosses, we'll have in short a discussion about this life cycle. A life cycle of bryophyte is characterized by the alternation of two morphological distinct phases. One phase is haploid gametophyte and other phase is a diploid gametophyte. Gametophytic phase is independent autotrophic haploid and bear gametes. It develops from the spores produced by sporophyte. Male and female gametes represent the last phase of gametophytic generation. Haploid male and female gamete fuse to form a diploid zygote. Well, zygote represent the first phase of sporophytic generation, and sporophyte is simply completely dependent on gametophyte for nutritions. Sporogenous tissue in the sporophyte divide mitotically to produce haploid spores. Thus, the spores germinate to form an haploid gametophyte. So, friends, this was what a little in short about the general characters of the bryophytes with its life cycle, how its life cycle takes place, alternation by the two morphological distinct phases. One is the haploid, another one is the diploid. Haploid one takes place by the gametophytic phase, is independent, autotrophic, haploid and bear that the gametes, and it develops from the sporophyte, whereas talking about the diploid, male and female gametes represent the last phase. Haploid male and female gametes fuse to form the diploid zygote. So these are the phases in the haploid gametophyte and diploid sporophyte of the bryophytes. Well, friends, if you have any doubt and questions regarding this topic, you may please contact me on my cell phone and on my WhatsApp number. Till then, thank you.